what 6 characters would be added to a hypothetical Fighters Pass 3? I'm not talking about what characters will be in the next Smash Bros. Game. I'm not making a predictions video for that. I'm talking about here and right now, if Nintendo announced a Fighters Pass 3 for Smash Bros. Ultimate following the announcement of Sora, what 6 characters would they add? Let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are creating a hypothetical Fighters Pass 3. It's been over 2 years now since Sora released, so, you know, it's been a while since we've had a nice Smash Bros. Discussion on this channel, and I was kind of just feeling it, like, what characters would they add in a hypothetical Fighters Pass 3, assuming, like, let's say it's announced in 2024 and runs through late 2025. Let's assume there's no Switch 2. Let's assume there's no new Smash Bros. Game being announced in that time frame. What 6 characters would they add in a 3rd season of DLC? Now, the 6 characters I've picked are a little bit of a mix of what I want to see, but also what I think would be kind of realistic given the current landscape of games on Nintendo platforms and just, you know, based on other Fighters Passes. You know, there's a couple characters on here that, like, maybe wouldn't make the most sense, but as we've seen time and time again with Smash Bros. DLC, there's always that one random character, so we'll talk about that later. Now, for this list, I did also separate it into half and half, so I've picked 3 first-party characters and 3 third-party characters to make it in this time. If you look at the other Fighters Passes, the first Fighters Pass had 1 first-party character, and the second Fighters Pass had 2 first-party characters, so I think for this one, we would get 3 first-party, 3 third-party. And for our first-party character, and, you know, I gotta keep people on their toes, this is a character that I think would upset a vocal minority of the Smash fan base, but given what Sakurai has done in the past, I don't think it's that unlikely. In fact, this is one I actually could see happening in the base game of Smash Ultimate 2, or whatever they end up calling it, but Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. As we all know by now, Nintendo likes to use Smash Bros. To market their more niche franchises. I know Xenoblade Chronicles is very popular now, but they do like to do that. I mean, we've still seen that happening with pretty much every Fire Emblem game, so I think Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 would be a great pick. She is the most popular character from that game. She's getting tons of merch from, like, Figma and Good Smile and, you know, all these figures, and she's definitely the most popular character from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. She uses the 2 rings, and she's like a healer class kind of, so that inherently makes her more interesting than, like, Noah from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because he just has a sword. And while they could do cool things with Noah, I would much prefer if we got Mio. It's another female character, which is great, but really just having those twin rings as her kind of moveset, or basing her moveset around those rings, I think would be very interesting and definitely more exciting than another sword fighter. Even though I don't mind sword fighters, Mio would be more exciting. Now, you might be asking, well, why wouldn't they just do Noah and Mio, and you could have it be a Switch character like Pyra and Mithra? They could do that, but I think just focus on Mio. You can have Noah show up in their final Smash as some sort of Ouroboros transformation, but keep this one just Mio for now. That's what I would like to see as our first DLC pick for Fighters Pass 3. Now, for first-party character number 2, I think this one would maybe be more likely to be included in the base game of the next Smash Bros. But whatever, I'm just going to include it here because I really want to see this happen. Frankly, this should have happened on Smash 4, or at the very least on Smash Ultimate, but Captain Toad. This one might not be the most exciting pick, but in terms of first-party characters that aren't from the niche JRPGs that Nintendo releases, what first-party characters are really left? You know, you think of, like, other Mario characters they can add. You can think of some Donkey Kong stuff. You know, Dixie Kong would be cool, Cranky Kong, Funky Kong, sure. But in terms of, like, core Mario, or really just core Nintendo, there's not that many, like, obvious choices left. Now, you might say, well, Captain Toad isn't really relevant right now, and that is true. You know, Captain Toad came out in 2014 and then 2018 on Switch, but Captain Toad has appeared in a lot of Mario games, including Mario Bros. Wonder. So Captain Toad is definitely something that Nintendo, like, thinks about. Nintendo is thinking about Captain Toad constantly, and I feel like in terms of adding a new Mario character to Smash Bros., Captain Toad is definitely the right choice. His moveset would be very interesting because the entire mechanic of Captain Toad is that he can't jump, so that, you know, gives Sakurai a bit of a challenge. Maybe when you press a jump, he creates like a platform or something, or his up special could be like a cannon, his side special could be the minecart levels, kind of like Wario's motorcycle. Like, there's stuff they can definitely do. Maybe he would carry over Peach's down special where he like spawns a turnip, because there's also a bunch of turnips in Captain Toad. I think Captain Toad, in terms of like a popular Nintendo franchise, Captain Toad makes the most sense to come over. And then for pick number 3, I'm ignoring any rules, you know, spirits, assist trophies, I don't care. Isaac from Golden Sun. Isaac, at least in the online Smash community, I feel like is definitely the most requested Nintendo character that's not in the game. Now, I was thinking about maybe putting Chibi Robo here, but I'm just gonna stick with Isaac Golden Sun. I think that makes the most sense. There's a lot of interesting things they can do with Isaac. If you've played Golden Sun, you know he uses like the Djinns, and those can kind of change his playstyle, maybe similar to Shulk, where he has the different elements. Maybe that's how it would work with Isaac. And I just feel like to round out our first party cast here, you know, Captain Toad, very popular. Mio is the most popular character in Xenoblade 3, so that inherently makes her one of the most popular Xenoblade characters. Isaac Golden Sun, that's kind of like our niche character for this this Fighters Pass. And hey, you never know. Maybe they're gonna add him to the Fighters Pass because they're making a new Golden Sun. Maybe that's why Camelot hasn't released a game in like 3.5 years. That's pure copium, but hey, maybe. All right, so that's our first party characters done. But what about our third party characters? Now, once again, I have 3 here. So starting off, Monster Hunter. I understand. Listen, I know you're typing your comments, but hear me out. Specifically, I'm gonna say Lute from Monster Hunter Stories. Here's why. So from what I could gather, the main reason that we didn't get a Monster Hunter playable character in Smash Bros. Ultimate, which everybody expected, the main reason that didn't happen was because the team over at Capcom view Rathalos as a more iconic part of Monster Hunter as a franchise, which is totally true, which is why we got the Rathalos boss fights in the World of Lights. But here's the thing, though. Monster Hunter is Capcom's most popular franchise. It does sell better than Resident Evil, but more importantly, Nintendo has such a deep-rooted connection to Monster Hunter. They published almost every game for a while there. So Nintendo has a very close relationship with Monster Hunter. The games sell best on Nintendo platforms, or maybe that's not true with PC now in the mix, but Monster Hunter is a deeply Nintendo-rooted franchise, and if they want to get past the, oh, in the traditional Monster Hunter games, you get the Monster Hunter character that you customize, and that's not really like a character they can add. That's why you add a character from Monster Hunter Stories, and right now, at the time of recording, we're getting a new remaster of Monster Hunter Stories from the 3DS on the Switch, as well as other platforms. So Monster Hunter Stories seemingly is a series that's going to stick around, so if you want to add a named character, Lute from Monster Hunter Stories, that is your Monster Hunter rep for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Make it happen, Nintendo. All right, now this next one is a pure popularity pick. But, and I know, guys, I know this is like the meme. However, after the success of Super Mario RPG, there is no shot Gino does not get in to Smash Bros. Be it this Fighters Pass 3 or be it the next Smash Bros. Game. I think Gino is basically guaranteed now. Now, first of all, you might be thinking, well, isn't that a first-party character? No, Square Enix does own the character of Gino, which is, you know, speculated to be one of the main reasons we haven't gotten Gino in Smash. But now they've clearly worked it out. They've remade Super Mario RPG, and it sold really damn well. It's one of the best-selling Mario RPGs. So there is a clear demand for Gino in Smash Bros. Now, I would like to posit the idea. I'm not going to say this is what I predict, but I would like to see Mallow instead, because Mallow is an infinitely more interesting character. It'd be more interesting to see what they do with his moveset. You know, Gino, he's a puppet, but he has like a lot of mechanical features. He has like a gun inside of him. So Gino would definitely be easier to translate into Smash Bros. But yeah, in terms of a popular character, after the success of Mario RPG, I feel like Gino basically has to happen, I feel like. And then we come to our final character, which I have multiple reasons for adding to this list. Now, I mentioned at the top of the video that there's a character here that a lot of people would think doesn't really make sense. But if you look at the other Fighters Passes, every Fighters Pass has at least one of those characters. So for the first Fighters Pass, it was Joker. Joker has really no connection to Nintendo. Now Persona 5 is on Switch, but at the time, it was what, just Persona Q2 on 3DS? So that doesn't really count. And then in the second Fighters Pass, it was Kazuya. Kazuya, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 was on Wii U, I guess, and Tekken 3D Prime on 3DS, but the Switch doesn't even have a Tekken game. Kazuya is definitely not a character that's associated with Nintendo, so that was an odd choice, even though it represented one of the biggest fighting game franchises. I think we're going to get another out-of-left-field third-party character that will definitely make people scratch their heads. A lot of people will be upset, but also a lot of people, myself included, would just be like, oh, that's pretty neat. And I think that character will be an Xbox character. So, drum roll, please. What do you think it's going to be? It's not Master Chief. It's not a Bethesda character, although Doomslayer would be cool. It's Chai from Hi-Fi Rush. Now, first of all, despite Hi-Fi Rush not being on the Switch, I do think it will come eventually, or at least come to the Switch 2, which, you know, that could be the same reason that Joker got in the Smash Ultimate. They knew Persona 5 Royal would come eventually. We've had an Xbox character in every Fighters Pass so far, the first being Banjo, the second being Steve. I think adding another one in the third Fighters Pass, considering Nintendo and Xbox have that great relationship, I think that just makes a lot of sense. Now, why Chai specifically? Well, once again, it's that out-of-left-field moment. Master Chief, I don't think they're going to add a character like that or Doomslayer in this game, just because, yeah, we have Snake, but I don't know, it'd be kind of hard to do that moveset and make it kind of PG. PG-13 or whatever, right? So I'm gonna say no to Master Chief or Doomslayer, as much as I would like to see Doomslayer specifically, but Chai, extremely family-friendly, comes from a Japanese studio in Tango Gameworks, and that's very important because if you've noticed, basically every character in Smash Bros. Originated in Japan, the only major examples being Banjo-Kazooie and Steve, as well as King K. Rool and Dark Samus, but those are from a pre-established Nintendo franchise when Rare added them and Retro added them to their respective series. Chai originates from Japan. It comes from Xbox's singular Japanese studio, Tango Gameworks. And I just feel like if we're gonna get a whole new IP represented in Smash Bros., Hi-Fi Rush from Xbox feels like the perfect fit, honestly. It's extremely popular, the main character is likable, his moveset would be pretty cool. I guess with his guitar, it might kind of feel like a sword fighter, but, you know, we know Sakurai's crazy. The Madman recreated every map for Steve with the grid for the blocks. Maybe he recreates something to some extent to where Chai actually plays like a rhythm character. Maybe you have like a rhythm beat bar at the bottom of the screen when you're playing as Chai and you have to hit to the beats. That's a crazy idea, but it would be really cool to see. And honestly, like I said, I feel like Chai, out of every Xbox character, yeah, it's not Master Chief, yeah, it's not Doomslayer or the Skyrim guy, I can't remember his name. It's none of that. It's not any like major popular character, but that's why I think it's likely, because Nintendo and Sakurai, they be doing random stuff sometimes. So yeah, for my final pick, I'm picking Chai, which rounds out Fighters Pass 3 in this scenario as Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Captain Toad from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Isaac from Golden Sun, Lute from Monster Hunter Stories, Gino from Super Mario RPG, and Chai from Hi-Fi Rush, which frankly to me, that sounds very balanced. That is a pretty balanced list of characters in terms of characters that people might ask, like, really, why is that character in there? But also characters that people would be very excited about. I just thought this might be kind of a fun exercise, kind of a fun video to make. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Would you be happy if Fighters Pass 3 consisted of these 6 characters? And what would your personal Fighters Pass 3 actually kind of include? What characters would you include in your Fighters Pass 3? And maybe not your, perfect scenario. I was trying to make it more of a balanced list here. Let me know what you would include down in the comments below. Of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo Switch speculation, theories, discussions, all of that fun stuff, I would appreciate you subscribing. And until next time, folks, peace.